The world of The Witcher 3 is a beautiful place, but up until now we've generally seen it smothered under a blanket of despair. The Blood and Wine expansion marks a welcome shift from that. It immediately shuttles us off to the Duchy of Toussaint, a colorful, sunny place far removed from the suffering in the north. With a generous injection of some monster menace though, it becomes a memorable spot to send off Geralt in what may be his last adventure. Most of this roughly 25-hour expansion strength comes from the way it makes a clean break with the rest of The Witcher 3, shuttling us far from the corpse piles of Velen and the grey gloom of Skellige mere moments after accepting the relevant quest from a message board. There's no war here in Toussaint. The people are happier and the interaction's more playful. It's a smart shift, as it evades any guilt that Geralt should be busying himself with the bigger issues of the region. That frees you up to enjoy the strong cast of characters. On top of a surprise character I won't spoil, there's a plucky shoeshine boy who never fails to try to make a profit out of any conversation.
Wouldn't be looking for work, would you? We'd make a fine duo.
And a roguish young woman whose spite threatens to end the comparative happiness of Toussaint for good. But most of all, I'm taken with the Duchess Anna Henrietta of Toussaint. She embodies the complexities of Toussaint itself, adorning herself in finery when at peace, but fighting valiantly and confidently when the need arises.
Take him away. Throw him in the dungeon. He shall await trial there.
A little unexpectedly for this land of sun and wine-swinging fun though, this is chiefly a strange and fascinating tale about vampires. It's generally handled well, even if the main antagonist is never so strongly depicted as the large cast of characters who surround him. He comes off as a petulant but powerful fool, and his one true moment of complexity vanishes as swiftly as he does himself when shifting out of corporeal form. As in Hearts of Stone, boss battles here generally emphasize swiftness and careful strategic thought, which again marks a welcome shift from the predictable brawls of the core game. Among my favorite was a tournament battle with a huge rolling rock creature that attempted to smash me in a small arena without any shelter, thus demanding several carefully timed dodges. The color that Blood and Wine brings to The Witcher 3 isn't just limited to landscape. Sometimes it's literal, as in the case of the much-needed dyes Geralt can now use on his Witcher sets. Blood and Wine also introduces us to Geralt of Rivia, Landed Vintner, after he receives a vineyard estate early on. This place is largely fluff, but it's also a great place to show off Geralt's armor and weapons rather than stashing them in a trunk, and it's a way of gaining some extra bonuses in exchange for gold. A bed, for instance, grants Geralt vitality. A renovated stable gives Roach more stamina. There's even a garden for growing herbs and an alchemy lab that can break down mutagens. The expansion also brings mutations, which unlock new skill slots that can greatly change the flavor of The Witcher 3's combat. They make it fun and flashy in a way it's never quite been before. New weapons, armors, and other goodies round off the expansion. All of this stuff might have trivialized the early story and battles, but Blood and Wine is smartly aimed at giving new game players an edge as they venture into harder difficulties. As such, you can't even jump into the content until around level 35. Blood and Wine ends the saga of Geralt of Rivia in style, bringing with it a tale of vampires and troublesome friendship set in a stunning new landscape that departs from the bleakness we've known until now. The expansion also brings some welcome gameplay enhancements, including mutations, the ability to dye armor, and a vineyard for growing herbs. Most of all, it leaves Geralt in a good place. For more on everything Witcher, stick with us here at IGN.